Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is fantastic to see you guys again.
You had to kick the camera?
Did I kick it?
You had to kick it?
Hold on. There.
Right in the intro?
Right in the intro.
Yeah.
See? Because we're rusty.
No, a little rusty.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's been a couple of weeks.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. And we're happy to see you guys again. Man, oh man, there's so much to talk about. There's so much to get into.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to fucking start, except for, what's up? How's it going?
How you been?
How are you guys doing?
How's your mother?
Your holidays were good. Do you have any resolutions that you started?
I don't think people are doing that this year.
I mean, probably shouldn't. What's the point, really?
I haven't heard of a single person talking about their resolution.
I haven't seen one single tweet, Instagram post, or Facebook message about fucking resolutions.
It's probably for best.
Yeah. So let's just try to make it from today to tomorrow, right?
That's resolute enough for me, my friend.
That's all we can do.
Yeah.
Well, in the meantime, if you're watching this, thank you for rejoining us in the new year, 2022. We're starting fresh. We're feeling good. Mm-hmm. We're smelling good. We're feeling good. Mm-hmm. And if you're here, then you know what time it is. My name is Marco Dupa, and that guy right there is Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
What's up, Brewskis?
And tonight's brew is from the Sideward Brewing Company. It's their Juicy Boots, a double dry hopped IPA. So juicy. And we can't wait to get into that. We've got, like I said, so much to get into. We're in this new year, we're trying to be a little bit more positive. We're gonna try to tackle all these I don't know, issues, these societal qualms,
yes,
quagmires.
It's been a hard time out there for many folks, so we're not trying to add to that.
No, we're trying to do the exact opposite this year. We're going to try to come from a positive place. Not that positive.
Sure. I mean, temper your expectations, my friends, because you know what this podcast usually is and who we are. So,
and speaking of this podcast and who we usually are, this is episode 367.
Wow.
Of the One Beer In podcast. Let's crack them open. Let's do it.
Lost to be found, not someone to save you when you're down. Yes, I'm bored when it's bright out, so bored when it's bright out. 4 to 5 a.m. takes me to a place where I fit in.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the One Beer In podcast. The podcast where two brews crack open a brew, and we see where that one brew takes us. As I said, I'm Marco Dupa. That is Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
That's right.
We're happy to be back doing this thing that we love to do. We took a bit of a hiatus due to, there was the holidays.
Sure.
The holidays definitely didn't help. Or
We did plan on a break. We should let you know. Probably should let you know beforehand, but
yeah, there was a planned break.
Right.
We took the planned break, and then in the midst of the planned break, I got COVID again. So, I'm like COVID. I'm like Thanos. COVID Thanos.
Sure.
I'm trying to collect all of the variants in my gauntlet.
Yeah.
And then I'll be able to snap, and every half the population will not have COVID.
Oh,
see, I'm gonna snap COVID away.
Nice.
See,
That's
see,
great. Yeah.
see. In the past, I would have given everybody COVID. Just so that they can all suffer like me.
I don't know if we're allowed to say that in the first 10 minutes of the
No,
podcast.
no. It's all in jest, right? It's all said in jest.
Yeah.
So instead, I would have taken COVID from people and let half the population. Well, I guess the other half of the population still is at risk.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true. And they're just going to infect the other half, so.
Yeah, so I guess it really doesn't matter. Yeah. Does this feel eerily similar to January of 2020 and 2021?
Yeah.
Positivity.
Right, yeah, that's what we're
Positivity.
doing. That's what we're doing here.
So, you know, let's just get right into it. We had the holiday break planned, and then when we were going to come back the week prior to this, and we didn't because I got COVID again. I'm pretty sure it was the Omicron variant because of what they're saying the symptoms are. Luckily for me, it wasn't that serious. Had like congestion, a head cold, sinus headache.
Yeah.
But it was all basically just right here in my face, you know?
Did you ever even get like a fever or
No.
God, that sucks, and it's both it's both good and it sucks because it just sounds like allergies to me.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, and I guess this has always been the case with it, is part of the problem with COVID is that it feels like it feels like the smartest virus of all time.
Yeah.
Where it's like I can be anything. I can
Right.
I can be anyone. I can smoothly move in and out of any situation.
It feels like it's working with allergy season 2. Like they're combining forces to just try to fuck over humanity.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, if I didn't know any better, like if you didn't tell me, if there was no plague going on,
sure.
I wouldn't have thought anything of it, and
That's
I
what I
just
was
would have been
gonna
like,
say.
I got the sniffles. What are you gonna do?
That's what I was gonna say, for at least for educational purposes. What made you think I should probably take a test?
It was Southie's fault.
Okay.
The guy who sings the
the
theme
intro,
song.
yeah.
He's been on the show before. One of friend of the show. One of my closest buds. Love the guy. We were playing Call of Duty, and I was starting to get a little sniffly, and I was coming down with it, and he was like, "Well, have you tested?" And I was like, "No, I mean, I'm as you guys have heard, and as I've talked about, I'm usually about 20 to 30% congested. That's pretty much how I live my life. Probably should go see a specialist or whatever. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So to me, getting a little bit congested is really just like, oh, I'm getting like a mild cold.
Yeah.
If it's more congestion than usual, that's what I usually chalk it up to.
Right.
And he was like, well, the symptoms of this new variant are very mild symptoms. They're saying that it could be, it feels like to some people, especially people who are vaccinated, just a mild head cold.
Yeah.
And I was like, whatever. So I wake up the next day, and ironically, I got up early because I was on my way to get a booster shot. I had an appointment for my booster that day.
Okay.
And I was on my way out the door, and I was feeling worse than yesterday, but still not that bad. And I was like, I might as well. I have an extra at-home test. This was before everyone bought them.
Yeah.
We actually had a bunch of them.
Which
at the
apparently
house.
you're able to buy now if you can find them and charge it to your insurance.
Yes,
Up to
I did see
$8
that.
per month.
I don't have insurance, so fuck me.
Well.
So we had an extra one at the crib, and I was just like, fuck it. Let me just take this.
Sure.
Just to be safe. And when I tell you how quickly that second line popped, I mean, it was...
I'm pregnant!
Dude, it was so fast.
Did you believe it, or did you stare at it for a while?
I stared at it for a second. I got angry. I slammed my hand on the desk, and I was like, fuck.
Got
I was
me
just
again.
frustrated. Yeah, because that's the frustrating part about it is like I've been... Not to say that I've been like a curmudgeon in a cave,
Sure,
not doing anything, but like I've been trying to be careful. I'm not going to sit here. One thing I'm not going to do is judge other people for how they're living their lives at this point in the pandemic. Obviously, we have talked ad nauseum about how we feel, about masks and vaccines and how other people are treating this whole thing. So there's no real point in rehashing all of that.
Sure.
But what I'm not going to do personally is give an opinion on how other people are handling this thing at this point, because it's been a wild ride. It's been going on for too long, and not to say that there are people out there who are still continuously handling this in the wrong way.
Sure.
But those people have enough education, and if they're choosing to not take that education and use that, or if they're choosing not to believe it, what have you, there's nothing at this point that we can do for those people.
Yeah, the science is out. We know everything. I mean, not everything we could know about the virus, but enough.
We know enough, yeah.
At this point, at least. So yeah, I mean, it's a conscious decision if you're still being reckless.
Yeah. So I don't have an opinion anymore about stuff like that. At this point, it's like my actions are my own. And could I have been like in the house more? Obviously.
Sure.
Everybody could be.
But you're a Floridian, so, you know.
It's kind of hard to, I mean.
I was going to say, we literally cannot judge based solely on our geography.
Right, exactly.
There's no way. Maybe if we were in California or something, you know, we could look down on people and be like, well, you could have gotten Uber Eats every day.
Right.
You know, but.
Yeah, I mean, if the government was subsidizing DoorDash, then maybe I wouldn't fucking leave. I don't know.
I played that game. It's called Death Stranding. Highly recommended.
So, yeah, if you're going to hear my story and be like, well, you could have just stayed in the house more. You're right. I probably could have.
Sure.
I'm not, you know, it is what it is. So it is what it is. I got it. And that's where the frustration came from. Mm-hmm. It's like, because when you do test positive, the first thing you think is like, fuck, you know, I should have just stayed in the fucking house more. Mm-hmm. I should have worn a mask more. I should have done this, that, and the other thing. I should have got my booster when Paris told me to get my booster. You know, you think about everything that you should have done or could have done.
Yeah.
So that's the first thought you have. And then the second thought is like, well, fuck, nah, I can't go to work. And
darn.
Then the third thought is like, well, how am I going to fill up these days? And what's funny is I got it like 2 days after the CDC was like, hey, man, 5 days is enough.
5 days. Don't worry about it.
5 days is cool.
You're good.
And part of me was like, cool, I get to go back to work. And then part of me was like, fuck, I have to go back to work in 5 days. Because the 5-day thing is so arbitrary. It's like
100%.
Yeah. It's literally, man, it's at this point the CDC should be like, listen, it's a case by case basis. You need to be smart about this whole thing.
Right.
If you're still feeling, it should probably be 2 weeks if you're feeling, especially if you have symptoms still.
Sure.
And on the 5th day, I felt almost fine, but I was still a little congested. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you know, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
So for me, 5 days probably enough. For the next person, probably not enough. Maybe they need 7 days.
Especially, I imagine if you weren't vaccinated, it could take the full 2 weeks,
dude,
for you to recover.
I've heard the stories from people who aren't vaccinated and how they're getting hit by COVID, because a lot of them are getting hit. They haven't had COVID. This is the first time getting it.
Sure. Yeah.
And they're feeling it how I felt it the first
time. Yeah.
And it's like that's a bitch, man. It fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Getting it for the first time, no vax, is terrible. I don't wish that on anybody. It's terrible.
I'm sure. I don't want that shit.
Nah. So that was part of the reason for the delay. And now, you know, we're here.
Yeah.
We're recording. We're back at it. Back in the studio. Look at the streamers. It's a new year. Look at that. Beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy New Year. We
New
didn't get
Year.
to say that.
No,
yet.
we didn't.
Yeah. Happy New Year. Happy 2022.
2022, man.
New year, new beers.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see where those beers in this year take us.
Mm-hmm. Did you even think about a resolution?
No. No. My mind is as far away from resolution as it's ever been.
Yeah.
in my entire adult life. I don't care. I don't care. My goal is to continue to live.
Yeah.
Frankly, enjoy myself. Stay healthy. I've been working out more.
That's good.
I've been eating less and healthy. Continuing to eat healthy. Drinking way more water.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I've been feeling, without the resolution, I've been feeling better at the start of this new year than I have in the past few years.
Yeah.
Maybe not mentally, with the whole coronavirus still going around.
Sure.
But, overall, physically, emotionally, feeling better, feeling renewed, feeling like I'm back in power.
Maybe a resolution isn't the best thing. Maybe I don't know if there's any psychology behind this, but maybe setting a goal for yourself, this thing that you do every year at the beginning of the year, maybe it fucks with your mentality a little bit. Maybe it's like there's things that you want to get done, and maybe you should just try to ease yourself into those things instead of like, I have to get this thing done, and if I don't, then I have failed the entire year.
Sure.
It's a whole year. If your resolution is to work out more and you don't start January 1st,
right,
and then you call yourself a failure because you haven't, and then you just don't work. It's like that does more harm than just waiting until February or March, 7 months or 8 months of a year as opposed to 12 months.
It gives you a reason to get discouraged, which in hindsight, now that I think about it, I think that's what happened with our weight loss challenge to me. Is I left it feeling discouraged. Not overall. I talked up all the positive aspects that I left with from it, but looking back at the same time, I really did feel like I failed in some way.
Yeah.
But without that challenge, and now just with a more, I guess, flexible or a more opaque, obscure kind of challenge for myself as far as just trying to be healthier overall, I feel more empowered. I don't know. I think it gives me enough leeway to have a bad day and still feel okay the next day recovering from that. Or more than that even. I've recently felt more in charge of myself because there's not this outside force kind of pushing me towards a goal. It's all about me. And I love it being all about me. So, I'm totally good with keeping myself in check. I had just 2 small slices of a cauliflower crust pizza the other day instead of the full thing.
Yes.
I did that, and I felt fine.
I did that.
There was a piece of me, 2 pieces in the fridge that I really wanted to get to. But no. I said, I'm going to make some tea. I'm going to invest myself in Cobra Kai, the new season of Cobra Kai. And that's going to be my form of fulfillment in the rest of the day. And that's it. And I'm going to go to bed on time. I'm not going to stay up super late and want to have a midnight snack and all this other stuff. No, it's okay. I'm fine. There's nothing else that's making me do that. It's just me.
Yeah.
Because I feel so inclined to do that for myself.
That's great.
And that's good enough. I don't need another thing to push me towards that goal, at least right now. Maybe later on, maybe I'll need somebody to keep me accountable.
Yeah.
But for now, me's good enough.
That's good. The will, that's the hardest thing is the willpower. The hardest thing is the quieting the negative self-talk, upping up the voice that's like, we can do this. Let's just fucking do this. Let's get this done. You still owe me a steak dinner.
I know.
Just want to put that out there.
Well, if somebody wasn't sick with COVID-19 again.
Excuses.
Could have had a little more time to do that.
You could just mail it to me at this point.
I might. You may get a cooked steak with sides in a manila envelope.
I like the manila envelope.
Yeah.
Have it pierce the thing and then
seeping out. We'll say cut here, and then it'll just go.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And then just like squeeze mashed potatoes out like it's a fucking
Yeah.
toothpaste tube.
Yep.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. That's good to hear because, I mean, and it kind of goes to my point, and I don't know if there's any science behind that. I'm sure that there are people who need that extra push and need that goal-oriented way of looking at things so that they can get through shit like that. Mm-hmm. And not to say that that's not what I need, because sometimes I do need a checklist, goals, a leaderboard,
Sure,
just to kind of push me to the next level. But then sometimes it's just like, look, you have that opposite effect where you're like, look, I don't push me,
right?
Just let me fucking do it.
Yeah. No, I think what's happening to me right now is that I feel like that outside force is making it seem like more than it really is. You know, it's making it seem like if you need this extra push to work out every day, then it's really something that you shouldn't really want to do. Whereas I think of it like if it's self-imposed, then it's just something I'm doing for myself.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that I can look forward to even, maybe. You know, like I've been walking around a lot more outside to get some sun and just get some fresh air, and that's helped break up the day for me a bit. Or, you know, I've been actually waking up and doing that in the morning. Yeah. Which is a great way to start your day. Trying to cut down on my coffee a little bit, you know, just trying to regulate everything to feel better in general. Yeah. And I'm doing that for me. There's nothing else outside. And it's the whole psychological thing. I don't like being told what to do. I don't like authority, et cetera, et cetera. So if I'm doing it myself, yeah. So if I'm doing it myself, I feel more in control. I feel more empowered, and I feel less like this is something that I should be fighting against. Yeah. And it's something that I should want to do and is ultimately going to make me feel better. And that's what's been pushing me as of right now. That may change next week. I may need somebody to say, hey, get off the couch. Yeah. But up until that point, it's me. It's me pushing me. And I think that's, a notable and nice change of pace. Yeah.
All right, well, we'll see. I mean, if you guys are still doing resolutions, let us know, because I'm still interested. Resolutions are still, they're fun to me when they're something that is not just lose weight, eat better, be nicer to people. The same old fucking resolutions that you hear all the time. The lose weight thing is probably has to be the most common resolution, right?
Of course, yeah.
And I don't know. Your resolution, just be kinder to yourself.
Sure.
That should be your resolution. Be kinder to yourself. And other people. I don't know. We don't need any more negativity. There's enough of that, right?
No. Go to therapy.
Go to therapy. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I probably need that. Who knows? When I get insurance, maybe I'll be able to do that.
My therapist doesn't cover on my insurance, so
are you going out of network?
I'm way out of network, buddy. Far out of network.
You don't have it in. Why wouldn't you look in network?
Look, I got a specific recommendation.
So you got a referral.
Got a referral to this
out of network.
Out of network. Yes. But, this is the thing about therapy. You have to find the right fit for you.
Yeah.
It's just like any other relationship in your life. You have to find somebody that you trust, that you feel like understands you feel comfortable with, and that can take a few sessions. So I said, you know what? She's out of my network, but let me go ahead and try. And so I did, and it really worked out. And I am 100% on board with her.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I'm investing in me. I'm going to go ahead and use this money that I would blow on more movies or more games and instead invest on not being a nut job all the time.
Shout out to the Criterion Collection.
Yeah, Criterion. I still love you, baby.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I meant to bring up. we're diverting here. I've been in this crisis of conscience as far as the subscribed channels that I have.
Okay.
Because I've been really thinking about getting the Criterion Collection channel. The Criterion channel is what it's called. Mm-hmm. Been thinking about going to that. Problem is, it's expensive. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking about ways I can cut back, and there's a certain horror streaming service that may need to get the axe. And I'm not super happy about it, but
Are you saying you're going to sacrifice Shudder?
I might have to cut Shudder from my life. I haven't done it yet. And the fact of the matter is, I feel so strongly about Shudder as a platform that even though I haven't used it so much in the past couple of months, I'd say, in the past month, I streamed a movie that's only on Shudder last month. Even though that's the case, and most normal people would be like, all right, well, I'm going to cut this from my subscription list. I'm not using it that much. I just want to help Shudder. I love them. They are such a great platform for movie nerds like me, especially movie nerds who specifically like horror as a genre. I think it's great. I love Shudder. Check out Shudder, please. But I am in this crossroads where I just observe how many movies they have on the Criterion channel that I could be streaming without throwing down $30 on a Blu-ray, without having to do that. Sure, I'm going to continue to buy Blu-rays, and they now have 4K. They now have 4K. So I will continue to do that. But I think that, in a way, going to the Criterion channel can be a way for me to watch more of those classic movies I haven't seen yet, and also whittle out which ones I want to invest in as far as buying physically.
This is true.
So...
well, and you have to think, like, as great as Shudder is, and it is really that little engine that could kind of streaming service, it is a little limited by the fact that it's like thrillers and horror movies.
Of course.
And that's pretty much its bread and butter.
Yeah.
Criterion Collection, you're going to get,
But everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like Netflix or HBO Max or... any of the other streaming services don't have horror movies. It's just that Shudder, specifically gets... especially like the straight to DVD, air quotes, like low tier, but super enjoyable horror movies. The schlock that you don't get, you won't find that on like HBO.
Yeah.
So there is a little piece of my heart that will, suffer in this exchange, but I'm starting to feel like that's going to be the move.
If I could pay less if I could just pay for Amazon Prime and if I could pay less for Amazon Prime, and what that would mean was I don't get access to Prime Video, I'd give up Prime Video.
Yeah. Excuse me.
But otherwise, yeah, it's hard to give up the rest of them. I'm not giving up HBO Max. At this point, it's like they just got so many movies.
Oh yeah, no, it's still to this day too strong.
It's crazy
of a lineup.
It's crazy how much stuff is on there,
especially with the straight to HBO Max movies.
Yeah,
or ones that come out soon thereafter. That the new Batman movie is going to come there like a month after.
Yeah,
which is great.
It's
awesome.
All I have to do is wait a month and I can just watch it at home. Come on. Disney Plus, not giving up because. I'm not like exactly. Just for the Star Wars content alone, I'm like, I'm not gonna not have Disney Plus.
We're Star Wars and Marvel nerds.
Yeah,
so, they got us by the balls.
They do. They really do. Yeah. I can't fight it.
Encanto was pretty good.
What?
Encanto was pretty good.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was all right.
I watched that.
It was no Coco, but it was enjoyable.
I've never seen Coco.
Get out of my house. Get out of my house.
Oh, man. If I admitted to you the amount of movies that I actually haven't seen, you probably wouldn't be my friend anymore.
Yeah, probably.
So let's just not talk about it.
No. It's like politics. We can't talk about it.
Can't talk about it.
No.
But yeah, I've always meant to watch it, and everyone always tells me how good it is, and they cried, and how emotional it is, and all this stuff. But I just never sit down and watch it.
Your sister and I watched that movie for the first time. It wasn't on Disney Plus yet, but I guess we watched it on DVD or something when it came out, because I didn't see it in theaters either.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, we both sobbed, like looking at each other and laughing at how much we were both crying at the same cartoon movie.
Oh man.
Incredible.
Is that the last time you cried in a movie?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably not. Probably not. Some movies get me, Some movies get me. Maybe the last time I vividly remember crying in a movie.
Yeah.
Or crying at a movie. La La Land got me. Funny enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was after, right?
I don't know.
Was that after Coco?
Yes, it was, because we were living together at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, so that one got me in the theater. I had to do a silent...
I'm trying to think. What would be the last movie that got me? I've been hesitant to watch overly emotional movies, especially lately. I've been not really in the mood for, heart-wrenching...
emotional turmoil?
Yeah, I mean, I'd watch The Power of the Dog, which is getting
I did too.
reviews.
I did too, actually, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, but it's tough in different ways.
Yeah.
It's not tough in you know what really gets me? Maybe this is really revealing too much about myself.
Okay. What the show's about.
Father-son relationships really get me.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so whenever I see that in a movie, that always I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's some childhood trauma that I need to work out.
Just talking about therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those really get me. Power of the Dog. If you guys haven't seen it, it's fantastic.
That's very good. Very, very good performances. I think it's the standout of the entire movie is the performances.
Definitely, everyone's great in it.
Yeah. Shot beautifully too.
But to say that it made me cry?
No, I had the same reaction to it, and honestly, it was one of those that left me afterwards. It's one of these movies. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
All right.
Just plot wise, it makes you just go, okay.
Yeah.
I have to analyze that a bit.
Yeah.
It's a thinker. It's a bit of a thinker.
Yeah, you got to take it all in, and you're like,
There were moments, though.
Motivations.
I feel like, what's his name? Jesse Plemons, right?
Yeah, Jesse Plemons.
He made me feel things
Yeah.
throughout the movie. I felt for his character and things that happened in that movie.
Yeah, but even I don't know. Even his character, I was like, they all kind of seemed. I don't know. Without giving too much away.
Hard
the movie.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about without getting into spoilers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even the main character, Benedict Cumberbatch's character, there was a lot emotionally there that makes you think, but I don't think necessarily pulls out your heartstrings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good movie though. Check it out.
Definitely check it out.
Especially because it's on Netflix.
Yeah. Easy to just roll up,
Check
throw
it
that
out.
bitch on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Okay.
To get back to the original thought. Yeah, I say you just have to give up. You might have to just give up Shudder, man. I mean,
you know what? If I do, I will guarantee I will bring it back for Halloween.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, you got to.
Just be one of those I jump back in on.
Well, especially because for some reason it's like all these streaming services have an agreement with all of the horror movie studios and producers to go, all right, now that it's the appropriate time to watch these movies, no one can watch them. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it this year. All of the movies that I wanted to watch, almost all of them. Some of them were up, but pretty much we had a list. We had a list of movies that we wanted to watch, and almost all of them not streaming.
You just borrowed 5 DVDs from me.
I did.
That's it.
And then And then January rolls around, and almost
they're all back.
All of them are up.
They know.
But what I don't understand is why.
It has to be the studios. It's the studios. It must be in a contract in which they're licensing these movies out to Netflix and HBO and all these other companies, saying like, you have this movie up until this date, and then after that date, it starts on this date. Like it has to be written in there that they're hoping to recoup some money on rentals and people buying the Blu-rays and buying digitally.
Oh, okay.
And that's how they get their money back. And then throughout the rest of the year, they're like, yeah, go ahead and have that movie if anybody wants to see it. Go ahead.
Okay.
If not, I'm sure that the streamer has to pay a premium on the movie for the season. So, for instance, like, I don't know, having The Santa Claus or something on Netflix probably costs way more from November to January or whatever. And then after that, it's like, take it. We don't care.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense in a very fucked up capitalistic way.
Sure.
It makes perfect sense. Because, it was the same thing during Christmas. You saw everybody complaining about how Netflix doesn't have The Grinch, didn't have Home Alone, although HBO Max had Home Alone. You had to go through all of the streaming services to, like, collect all of the Christmas movies.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's not what... That makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. Because I've been racking my brain as to why a movie studio or a streaming service in conjunction with the movie studio, why they would want to wait until the most opportune moment and then go, nope. And I know that it's not just to fuck with people, because the last thing that they want to do, they're not game studios and they're not Vince McMahon. They don't want to just fuck with the audience. Right. They're trying to make as much money as possible. So it's not that. But I've been racking my brain as to why. And that makes sense. If you're going to pluck it and then go, now you have to pay me more to have this thing. Mm-hmm. A lot of people will do that.
Yeah.
I did it. There's a couple of movies that I was like, fuck it. I'll rent this movie.
Yeah,
I'll give them the money for it.
I'm pretty sure I rented Jim Carrey's The Grinch That Stole Christmas. Is that what it's called? I always get the names mixed up.
The Grinch That Stole Christmas.
How is it? How the Grinch Stole Christmas? Is it just? It's not just The Grinch, because The Grinch is the animated Benedict Cumberbatch movie. Apparently,
yeah. It's how the Grinch stole Christmas.
How Jim Carrey's How
Jim
Carrey's
the Grinch That Stole
the Grinch That Stole Christmas.
Yeah, it's how Jim Carrey's name is not in it. He didn't present the movie. He didn't
Jim Henson presents Jim Carrey's
How the Grinch Stole Christmas is the movie.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch's animated movie is The Grinch.
The Grinch, right. Okay.
Which is I still have yet to see that.
What's the animated one called? The original animated one then called?
Same thing. How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Jim Carrey presents The Grinch That Stole Christmas.
Which, let me tell you, sucks.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas?
The movie sucks.
Really?
It sucks. It sucks. It's a body horror tragedy of a film. The Who's, excuse me, The Who's are terrifying. To this day, as an adult man, I was scared and disturbed.
They are freaky looking.
They're so weird looking because they look almost human.
Yeah.
It's just they look like freaks. They literally look like freaks.
Yeah.
The nose and mouth and teeth is all that's different, and their weird hair.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, why? Why go halfway? Make them complete animals then, in that case. Put them in stuffed suits or something. I don't know.
Make them animals.
But, just going that half step to, blend in the fleshy color of their giant lip, fold.
Yeah.
And their nose plucked up freaks me out. I don't like it. And you know what? I don't like Universal for doing the Grinchmas every year either, because they bring those freaks out in real life, and that sounds worse than Horror Nights.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I saw that movie in theaters, and it freaked me out.
I thought it was good.
No.
in theaters. The last time I saw it, man, it's been years since I sat down and rewatched that movie.
look, I will admit Jim Carrey obviously is the saving grace in that entire thing.
Yeah.
He's awesome. His performance is great in it. He's thick as hell in it. Big ol' hairy Grinch ass. Lots of inappropriate adult jokes in it. Just a bad movie though. It's just bad. I'm sorry.
I remember thinking, even as a kid, the things that they did to flesh out the story were a little weird. Like him being a monster in this.
Remember Baby Grinch? Remember Baby Grinch? That little freak.
The motivation to be like, this is his origin. This is his villain origin story. Is like he was a monster in the back of the class, and kids were like, he's a monster. And I even as a kid I was like, well, he's a monster.
Yeah, he hates Christmas from birth.
He's angry. He's green and hairy.
He's like really strong too.
He's a literal monster. The rest of them don't look like that.
Yeah.
And like the whole thing is like, well, you shouldn't judge people on their differences. It's like, yeah, but he's not a Puerto Rican. He's a monster.
Right. I've heard that before, actually. Personally.
He's not a Puerto Rican.
He's a monster.
So, yeah, I always thought that was weird. And then his like weird relationship with the mayor's wife.
Yeah.
Like she's yeah. Okay. I don't know.
Fiancé, excuse me.
Right.
Weren't
Fiancé.
married. Yeah.
I have to go back and rewatch that. That's really funny though. Man. So yeah, know how the Grinch that stole Christmas.
The Grinch that stole Christmas, yeah.
On Christmas.
Uh-huh.
Did you spend your Christmas watching any movie that you felt? I mean, you do the Christmas Story thing.
So I didn't get a full watch of Christmas Story this year, but I did. Inevitably turn on the TV and the Christmas Story's on.
Yeah,
guaranteed. So I was able to just flip through the channels and find that in between doing other things.
Yeah,
and was able to relive one of my favorite scenes of the mall scene where he gets kicked down the slide. I got that, and I was happy with that.
Yeah, where a grown man kicks a child in the face.
It's great. I love that movie. It still to this day is my favorite Christmas movie of all time.
Yeah, I still haven't done the rewatch of it with a critical eye as an adult.
Well, there's always next year.
Yeah, apparently.
Or summer 2022.
Right,
it's probably on every streaming
service. It might be up right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you want to enjoy this movie now that it's fucking February? You want to watch A Christmas Story?
Might still be good.
Honestly, I think that's the best time for me to watch it. Is
sure, yeah. Without the seasonal glean, yes, to blind you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be good.
Well, we'll see. Mm-hmm. We are now in the new year, so all we can do is push forward.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're moving forward.
Uh-huh.
No looking back on old Christmas movies. We'll cross those bridges when we come to it next year.
Okay.
Or
next
year.
Yeah.
A year from now.
Mm-hmm.
So, this year, there's some stuff that we have to get into, and there's no time like the present.
Okay.
Let's just talk about what we got. I mean, we were talking about how HBO gets... it's hard to cancel your HBO subscription because it gets such good movies before a lot of streaming services, or period, it just gets those movies.
Yeah.
They had that deal with Warner Brothers, which I'm sure has come to an end this year now, right?
From my understand, that is dissolving this year.
Yeah.
Apparently it's still going as far as the Batman, which isn't going to be day and date with streaming, but will be within a month, I think.
Dune was supposed to be, or was it? And I just didn't watch it. Wasn't Dune supposed to be on HBO Max?
Oh, it was. Yeah,
it was.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I just okay.
Yeah.
We watched it in the theater.
Okay.
So I did see it, but I wasn't sure if it was on.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, did I just not open the app for a month?
I guess. Yeah, it would have been there. It's better you went to the theater for that one.
Yeah. So, HBO Max has this deal with Warner Brothers to bring in all these dope-ass movies. And one movie that we were super excited about all the way back.
You were excited about.
I was excited.
I was worried about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Is The Matrix Resurrections.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's finally here. It's finally on streaming services. We can finally sit down and talk about it. And I don't know. Obi, I mean, what do you think?
Well, I should say with our new format here, Matrix Resurrections is my cheers of the week. Glug glug. So, here's the deal. Okay.
Here's the deal, man.
I went into Matrix Resurrections with like underground levels of expectation. And I think that helped me while watching to accept some of the, let's say, plot holes, let's say poor pacing, let's say bad writing, let's say bad storytelling, let's say bad acting.
You're looking past a lot of stuff.
That allowed me to look beyond it.
And see the code.
I saw the code of Matrix Resurrections, and I appreciated it for what it was. This incredible fuck you to WB. And as almost a work of like, it's almost like a piece of art in the way that I would look at, you know, somebody taping a banana to a wall and saying this is art. You know, objectively, that's not very exciting to watch. It's not what you're expecting when you go to an exhibit. But I can't help but look at that and go, that took balls. You know, like that took some chutzpah, if you will. And I think that's why I appreciated, for the most part, Matrix Resurrections. Because I went into it expecting it, as we talked about before, you can go back and listen. I went in expecting it to not be self-aware, to be this complete, like Star Wars-esque, remember this, remember that, remember this, remember that, without any kind of like new thought. Which this kind of was the antithesis of. It was look at this, look at that, remember this, remember that. But in a way of saying, this is what you were expecting. We're doing it bad on purpose. We're doing it bad on purpose. You should feel bad for wanting that.
Yeah.
You don't want this movie. You don't really want this movie. You shouldn't want this movie. The Matrix was great. Let it go. And that's what that movie really was to me. While also having little moments here and there that actually paid off, and worked as a Matrix fan. Seeing Neo and Trinity together again, like, can't help but feel good about that. Hearing more about what happened after the trilogy, interesting. I'm invested. I think that's cool. I wish we could have had a bit more of that. I think the only places where it didn't work for me was, again, it's hard to tell what's purposeful, what's planned, and what is just bad, because I feel like so much of this movie is a fuck you, and it is on purpose, and it is like it's very conscious of what it is and what your expectations are, and it delivering on that, but in like the most clumsy way. But a lot of the acting was bad. A lot of again, if you're going into it wanting a really good action movie, it's not really there. A lot of the action scenes didn't work for me very well. Like, it didn't feel like The Matrix. Like, I would have liked a lot more of the, like, slow-mo, gun-fu, wire work, you know, that stuff. That wasn't there for me.
Yeah.
And I feel like it would have been much better if it had that same palette of fight choreo.
Yeah.
That it didn't have. It felt like a modern attempt at poorly attempted action movie.
Yeah.
Which didn't work for me. I was like, if you're going to kind of almost parody The Matrix in a way, at least go all the way and make sure those little pieces are in place, which it wasn't. It felt, you know, just not very well thought out on that end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I mean, like, it was obviously ham-fisted. Like, so much of it was like, we get it. We understand where you're going with this.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell us flat out what this is.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously not having Morpheus. Not really having Morpheus.
That was tough. That was tough.
And not having Agent Smith.
Tough.
The two of them, and the fact that we're forced to replace them with people didn't work for me.
And it's not fair to those actors.
No.
Those are two pillars of the franchise. And then you're like, we're just going to go with like two relative unknowns. Not to say that Yahya is like a super unknown. His name's Yaha, right?
Yeah.
Not to say that he's like
Abdul Mateen, right?
Not to say that he's like a complete unknown, because he's been in some stuff, and I think he's a great actor.
Yeah. He's not Lawrence Fishburne.
He's not Lawrence Fishburne.
Right.
It's just, it's not fair to him.
Well, he did great, in my opinion, for
what it was.
Yeah. I mean, same thing with Jessica Henwick. I liked her. I thought she was good. And Jonathan Groff, I like Jonathan Groff.
I don't like bugs.
But he's not Agent Smith.
No, he's not.
He's just not. He's just not. And the fact that they had to make him that, again, is unfair to the actor. So, yeah, I mean...
So, okay, your thought process is that Lana Wachowski is taking the piss out of her own movie.
Yeah.
Of her own franchise.
Yeah.
And going, oh, okay, you guys wanted this. This is what you get when you beg and beg. This story was finished. And the studio and the audience couldn't help themselves. They fell over themselves to try to get us to rehash and reboot.
Yeah.
This is a commentary on reboots, sequels, rehashes, all that jazz. Well, this is what you get.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I don't know if you read this, but the story was WB literally said what the game developer says in this movie, which is, we're going to do it without you if you don't sign up for this.
Yeah.
So she said, okay, I'll do it. Here we go.
Yeah, and then to put that in the studio, and then for WB to watch that and be like, look, we don't care that you're making fun of us. All we care about is that you make this movie.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It is that's art to me in a weird way. As disappointed as an OG Matrix fan as I am for this movie, I can't help but admire that level of fuck you, like, which is really what the Matrix is kind of all about, is that middle finger to the establishment, if you will.
See, okay. There's a part of me that could walk along this road with you if it weren't for the fact that they seem to completely abandon the parody about 45 minutes into the movie. And then it becomes schlocky, bad choreographed, set piece after set piece. And they just kind of abandon the plot itself to kind of service whatever thing that they're trying to do with the back half of the movie.
Sure.
Because the first 30 to 45 minutes of the movie, I could get with you. I could rock with you on that.
Yeah. Which I think is why so many people have an issue with that part of the movie. Because there's I've read a lot of reviews, and a lot of people say either, like, if they're Matrix fans who are expecting more of, like, the Matrix action, they hate that first half.
Yeah.
And they are on the fence about the second half because it's more of the action that you expect and more of the movie you expect. But it's not done very well, you know?
No, right.
Whereas I am the opposite. I prefer that first half because of that mental game at play. Mm-hmm. I love the mystery of this entire thing and overly obvious commentary that this is on WB and of the general state of movies today, with remakes and rehashes and just kind of doing things for the sake of doing them as opposed to having an actual story to tell. So I will say, like, I've read a lot of people saying, like, I wasn't entertained, I didn't like it, was boring, blah, 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 I fell asleep. And so it kept me going the entire time. I will say that. I was interested to see where the story was going to go the entire time. Was it done well? No.
Yeah.
Would I recommend it to everybody? Absolutely not. At the same time, again, I can't help but feel like I admire Lana Wachowski and what she did with this thing. Like, I was pleasantly surprised by what she turned out with this thing, because I think I was worried about the exact opposite happening. So that subversion of my expectations actually worked for me.
Oh man. I mean, when you put it like that, I mean, it's a pretty good argument if that is indeed what she set out to do.
Yeah.
If she set out to, like, comment on the state of movie making while at the same time make, a worthy sequel or worthy successor to her franchise, because, there are rumors that they wanted to restart the franchise if this one was successful, and it wasn't as successful as they thought it was going to be, and so they're kind of on the fence. And it's not as if Carrie-Anne Moss and Keanu Reeves can do another 2 more movies. Yeah. I mean, they could, but they would have to age them out, and then, like, Bugs be and
which is what it seemed like they were trying to hint at, if there was a possibility of them continuing it on.
Yeah, there's just the problem is that there's just some moments that seem to allude to that, like the entire sequence where they have to remake the game, the Matrix game in the Matrix, and that whole sequence, like, cool. I like what they're doing with this.
Yeah.
Commenting on the state of video games and Hollywood and, the franchise itself and all this stuff. I get that. That's cool. But then there's other things where, like Bugs' crew, they're just the most indistinguishable human beings on the planet. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing that sets them apart.
It is any crew. Any crew. In any sci-fi movie or TV show, it is the crew.
Yeah, I mean, there's moments where there were honestly moments in the, like, 3/4 of the film where they're getting swarmed by all the other, I mean, and I could talk for hours
vampires.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. And
the Merovingian is...
They bring back the Merovingian, and he's just some bum.
Yeah.
And I hated that. Yeah. There's nothing that redeems that to me. I hated that. You
that
bring back the
no
Merovingian, and you're like, yeah, now he's some, like,
he's lost his
hobo.
mind.
And no, I don't rock with that. But yeah, that crew, all of them could have been murdered, and, like, I wouldn't even know.
Well, you don't have any time with them at all.
No,
like,
you get nothing.
There's no character building with them.
But even in, like, the original Matrix, it's not like they spent a ton of time with each one of these guys and girls and people, but they were so distinct. Even I'll say this, because I've been thinking about this a lot. APOC is the most, like, milquetoast character in the first Matrix. You don't know what his story is. He's just, like, a vaguely brown guy. And he doesn't even have a lot of lines.
Yeah.
Like, there's just nothing to him. And even he is more distinguishable than pretty much every character in this new
off
Matrix.
the top of my head, I can think of Mouse, Tank,
Yes,
Dozer. You know, like
the whole that's pretty much Mouse, Tank, Dozer, APOC, Switch. What's
Joey Pants?
Joey Pants. What's his
Cypher?
Cypher. That's it. That's
Damn
the whole
you,
crew.
Cypher.
Damn you, Cypher. That's the whole. We got the whole Nebuchadnezzar crew right there.
Yeah.
And that movie is about Neo finding his way, and that whole crew. Mm-hmm. It's little stuff like that like the first one did so well without even trying.
Yeah. Well, I think there is a definite line that for most, I'd say, is crossed between, okay, you're making a commentary about bad movies and bad franchises. Mm-hmm. You can't make a commentary. You can't make a bad movie and say it's a commentary on the thing.
Right.
The movie overall, I would say 60% maybe worked for me.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying I'm more positive on it than I was expecting to be, because I was expecting to be bored by it. I was expecting to not have any feeling generally about it, just to be this rehash of the action that we've seen before. Bullet time. Agents. Blah,
bullet
blah, blah.
time.
Bullet time.
They just kept saying it. They kept calling it one word, and I was like so angry.
Bullet time.
Why do they keep saying that? One word. Bullet time. Why? Is that a joke? Am I crazy? Because even the closed captioning didn't have it as bullet-time. It was time. There was two words.
I think I may be hallucinating this, but I'm pretty sure one of the characters did point that out and said that's actually two words.
I hope so, because I was losing my fucking mind that they kept saying it.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Even
sure.
the analyst. Bullet time. I thought Neil Patrick Harris was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think in any other circumstance, he's a fantastic antagonist.
Mm-hmm. Which is surprising because he generally doesn't play that type.
Yeah.
I mean, except for Gone Girl, but spoilers.
Yeah.
But I think he was definitely one of the stronger new elements of what they had.
I think they could have done a lot. I think they could have done a lot more with him, rather. Yeah. They kind of neutered him towards the back half of the movie.
Well, he was more of an agent to me than the Jonathan Groff.
Yeah, the new Smith was, just an utter failure.
Well, and the fact that they relied so much on the flashbacks to like make that connection was just so weak.
It was weak. If half of the movie is scenes from your last movies, you're doing something wrong. If you need to remind the audience over and over and over again of why we're supposed to care about these people, and you can't do that in the movie that we're watching,
right?
You're failing on some level.
Yeah.
And they do, and she leaned way too heavy on. Remember this? Mm-hmm. This is why you should care about this. This is why this matters.
Yeah.
It was too much.
Yeah. I agree.
It was as if she made this movie for people who had never seen the original trilogy, but were curious about this one. It felt to me like she made this movie for people who understood. They were smart enough to understand that this was a reboot, rehash, poorly done sequel, whatever, of the original series, but had not actually watched or had watched the original series a long time ago and needed a refresher.
Right.
That's how this movie felt.
Yeah.
As if she knew that and was like, this is for people who don't really give a shit.
Yeah, it didn't trust the audience to make those connections without that. Yeah.
Because I remembered almost everything. Even in the bad ones, even in Revolutions, there was not a plot point that we talked about this. I've watched Revolutions more than probably Lana Wachowski.
Probably. Yeah.
And so there was nothing lost on me. Like, I remembered everything, and there was moments where I was like, well, why would that happen? Because that's not the way that it ended in Revolution. So like, why? What is that now?
Yeah.
So there was, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel you.
Oh shit.
But at the same time, I can't help but be at least a little bit happy is a strong word. Surprised.
Happy's a strong word.
Surprised by the movie we got, and that's enough for me.
Yeah.
So that's why it's my cheers of the week.
You know what? That's fine. Okay. I'll take it. I'll allow it.
All right.
I'll allow it.
All right.
Oops. Before we get out of here, I gotta do my cheers of the week, and because it's so indicative of how these past couple of years have gone, I think it's apropos to once again on this podcast delve into one of the things that we've wanted to do for
I've got to let my hair back down for this one.
years at this point. Haven't been able to finally get back to where we belong, which is the farm. Ladies and gentlemen, my cheers of the week goes to Bonnaroo for finally releasing their lineup. So we had a whole episode on this very podcast where we talked about 2021's lineup, and then call it an act of God, call it the universe,
something,
call it random interactions with cells and all whatever. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was just kind of like, oh man, it was kind of just like this is exactly how this is how this year is going. This is how these past couple of years are going. This is how society is going. Of course, it gets canceled. Of course, you get right up until the day, and it's like, sorry.
Well, it got rained out.
Yeah,
that was the thing. It wasn't even COVID. It was some rain.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was a literal.
The ground was too
act
wet.
Of God, if you so subscribe. It was too wet. The ground was literally too wet.
Yeah,
which is insane because you go the whole year thinking, hopefully COVID doesn't cancel this thing, and no, rain canceled. COVID canceled 2020. Rain canceled 2021. And now we have 2022's lineup. And hopefully, fingers crossed, toes crossed, who knows. But what we can say is we have a lineup. So let's just kind of go through. We obviously can't go through all of them because there's too many. But let's go through some of get my glasses on here.
Okay. All right. Well, the first day, like usual, not really anyone big time that we associate with. There may be some jam bands in there. There may be some electronic artists that you guys are excited about. Let us know in the comments, please. School us, if you will. So for Friday, we have J. Cole. We have the Chicks, formerly Dixie Chicks. Illenium. I'm not familiar.
Yeah, I'm going to plead ignorance on that one. I have no idea what or who Illenium is. And they have third billing on Friday.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
That's crazy.
Tell us your favorite Illenium track, and we will listen. We are old and dusted.
Yeah.
We have Robert Plant and Alison Krauss, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Disclosure, always fun.
Gonna go see Disclosure.
Lord Huron's pretty good. The War on Drugs, pretty good.
Definitely gonna see the War on Drugs.
King Gizzard, obviously.
Love King Gizzard.
Great time. Isaiah Rashad.
Yeah.
Denzel Curry.
Nice.
Japanese Breakfast.
Love.
Arlo Parks, I don't know if you've heard.
I have.
Okay. She's good.
She's great.
Enjoy her. And that rounds out Friday, I think, for us, right?
Yeah, I would say so. I don't know if there's any.
Yeah, there's some smaller name folks. No offense, but we're not familiar.
Yeah.
Moving into Saturday, we have Tool, which always put on a good show. Flume. Flume's cool. 21 Savage, if you're so inclined. Porter Robinson. Very good. Mark Ribier, of course. Churches is very cool. Ludacris.
Ludacris is like the 6th build name on Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say that. I mean, I don't know. He doesn't have anything out, and he hasn't put anything out in a long time. So I guess he shouldn't get like top bill. But I mean,
it's a little low. It's a little low.
It's a little ludicrous.
Low. I understand, but I mean, like, think back. Was it maybe last year? Nelly was supposed to be performing.
Yeah.
And I think he was higher billed than Luda on this list right now.
Yeah.
So it's strange.
It's crazy to think about.
All right, let's see. Femi Kuti, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That's it for me on Saturday.
Yeah, nobody jumping out. Lottie told me about Cody Henry, who's down at the bottom of Saturday. He's like a funk artist, and he was pretty good. I was listening. Corey, sorry, did I say Cody?
Yeah,
Corey Henry.
Okay,
and he's pretty good.
All right. Then we have Sunday, Stevie Nicks, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, Machine Gun Kelly.
Machine Gun Kelly.
Second build. Yeah, that's
Sunday.
wild. I mean, to each their own, I will say. If you enjoy MGK in his current incarnation, then God bless you. But not for me.
Yeah.
Not for me. Roddy Ricch, Nathaniel Rateliff, which will be a good time.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Herbie Hancock. Awesome.
Herbie Hancock. Machine Gun Kelly gets billed over Herbie Hancock.
Over Herbie Hancock, yeah.
Sure. Why even have Herbie Hancock on the bill?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Remember Tinashe?
Tinashe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it for me, man.
Yeah, I know. So the thing is with this list, there's obviously a bunch of names that we glossed over, and we just don't have the time to like fucking dedicate to every single name on the lineup.
Sure. But I mean, again, let us know if any of those smaller names are awesome, because we're always about finding new music.
Yes, exactly. So if you're recommending any of these people that that you've seen on the set list that we didn't talk about, please bring them up. But the thing is, I mean, it's hard not to be like, listen, it's just a weaker lineup than it has been in years past. There are some big names that people want to go see. There's some big names that I would like to go see. And honestly, I mean, the price of admission gets paid for a handful of names. I mean, Disclosure, J. Cole, Mark Ribier, Herbie Hancock is going to be amazing to see. Just, be able to. Stevie Nicks, Ludacris. There's just like, that's a lot of names already. I mean, they're not like names on my bucket list.
Right.
But it's enough for the price of admission. But it's like, I don't know, man. It's a tough sell this year. Yeah. It's hard to say that this isn't one of the weaker years that I've seen since following Bonnaroo.
Well, and you have to imagine that has a lot to do with COVID, right? Like,
for sure, yeah.
A lot of these major artists don't want to even put their name on the list to just have it canceled,
Yeah.
Especially if they can, be on tour themselves and then see how many shows they can get in before this, and
yeah,
kind of work on themselves.
Tool, that's a big one. Apparently, it's hard like Tool tickets are super expensive.
Yeah, I mean, Tool is known to be one of those bands that like put on a show.
Yeah.
I'm not a Tool guy, I'll be honest with you. I've tried. I feel like I should like Tool, but it just doesn't click for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm more of a Nine Inch Nails guy. But that being said, like, I would like to see Tool at some point live. Yeah. Like it's just one of those bucket list things for me, because it's an experience. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, we noticed here on Bonnaroo's official posting of it on Instagram, we have comments from Happy Hippie _21 saying, well, it's a lineup. After 2 cancellations and the great lineups that could have been, we get this.
It's tough.
And then that's not it. Joey Reiser says, my disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. And mind you, any lineup will get these kinds of responses. Mm-hmm. But the amount of likes these are getting in the hundreds, is surprising.
Yeah.
It's if I were Bonnaroo, it's a little worrisome because you're trying to rebound after 2 years of not having your show. And maybe that's another thing. Maybe they're running low on money. Maybe they don't have the money to put up for major artists.
Maybe, yeah, I could see that.
Because 2 years back to back, not getting revenue from people.
Yeah.
That's got to be rough, right?
It's tough. That's tough. It's got to be. Because after the second cancellation, they didn't even think to hold on to that money. They were just like, here's your money back. We're going to start fresh.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
So, yeah, it's got to be tough. It's got to be tough as an organization to be able to is Live Nation part of it?
It doesn't say here. As far as sponsors, I'm seeing Verizon, Toyota, PayPal, Bacardi, and Corona, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're not using them for tickets.
I'm just saying, Live Nation has a lot of, clout to throw around when it comes to booking this shit.
Yeah.
If they're not part of Live Nation, then that's also has, I think, a lot to do with this. The fact that they're operating outside of one of the largest booking agents, touring.
It's Frontgate.
Frontgate,
which it has been.
Yeah, yeah. So that's, I think that's part of it. I think that there's a lot of artists that go through Live Nation to book these shows. Live Nation is a big service for a lot of these the bigger name artists. last year wasn't a thunderous return to the farm, but it had Lizzo and Miley Cyrus and there were some big names on that 2021 lineup. Foo Fighters, Tyler the
Tame
Creator.
Impala.
Come on, man. That 2021 lineup was the shit.
Lana Del Rey.
I was okay with that. I could have been good with Tyler, fucking Tame Impala. I know Mark Ribier was on there also.
Yeah. Actually, we were just talking about Nelly. He was down on that.
Yeah, he was in the
he was in the smaller font. So I guess they don't respect
that's how they do late 90s, early millennium
aging rappers. Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. At least they're consistent.
Yeah.
Run the Jewels was going to be there.
Run the Jewels. Come on, man. That's it's tough.
It is tough.
Some people have been saying that this year is more of a return to form. Not a return to form as far as a set list, but a return to let's just get back out there and have some fun.
Sure. Yeah.
But that's asking a lot of some people, man. It's in this day and age to just be look, just spend a couple $100 to go to the farm and have some fun. It's
especially with the state of the world and asking people to go to this mass event with tons of other people, no social distancing. I'm sure many people not wearing masks, to put themselves on the line for a lineup. And I'm being facetious right now, that you wouldn't die for. I don't think that's a smart move.
Tough.
I think that's a great excuse. I think that's a way of people, big fans of Bonnaroo in general, just kind of coming to peace with the fact that it's not a stellar lineup.
Yeah.
But the experience is fun, and that's what you're really there for, is to have essentially to camp and watch shows. That's basically it.
Yeah.
So if that's what you're out for, God bless you. You're gonna have a good time, whoever's performing. It's just about the experience.
Yeah.
So that's a great way to frame it. And I think at the end of the day, Bonnaroo is about that positivity and the experience. So I say, by all means, even if this lineup doesn't exactly wow you, you're gonna go if you want to anyway. So
yeah,
you might as well.
Yeah. There's definitely people who are look, I don't care if it's fucking, it doesn't matter who's playing. I'm going because this is what I do every year.
Yeah.
I plan my year around spending a week in Tennessee. And that's fine. I respect that. And not to say that I'm like not going to go. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm looking at, some other stuff, I'm like, God, I don't know.
I'm just saying, for me, as years go on, shaky knees just becomes more and more attractive.
It's just right up there.
It's right up there. Of course, you don't get the full experience, the full like Burning Man experience of having to smell your friend's armpits for almost a full week. But that removed, you have the convenience of, sure, you have to get a hotel room. You get one close to the area, you can probably walk there every day, and you go back to your hotel and you rest up for the next day, full of shows. It just seems my pace nowadays.
Yeah.
Personally, I get the appeal of Bonnaroo. It's just, I don't know. It's just looking better and better is all I'm saying.
I wish Illenium was
Willenium.
I just want to, before we get out of here, let's just Google Illenium, because Nicholas D. Miller, professionally known as Illenium, is an American musician, DJ, and record producer. He's released 4 studio albums, his most recent being Fallen Embers. It earned Illenium his first Grammy nomination.
Oh, that was
Genres
just last
are
year.
Future bass, trap, dubstep, and pop punk.
Okay, so he's an EDM guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I have heard the name before, but I can't identify an Illenium song to you. So, I mean, all right.
Does that sound familiar to you?
No, does not. Is that a new track?
I don't know. It has 4.2 million views.
Wow.
That came out September 15th, 2020.
Okay.
So try not to get copyright striked.
That's good. Yeah. Thank you. It's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, it's smart of them to have some headliners with EDM because, last year everyone was complaining about how little EDM there was. Sorry, that was my ass. But yeah, no, it's been a complaint recently, at least the past 2 years, about how little they're kind of giving to EDM fans.
Yeah.
So, if that's their attempt at kind of, here, take this guy, then it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, it's not like, I don't know, the history of Bonnaroo has never been like super. I mean, I guess they had a day or half a day dedicated to like EDM and stuff. I don't know.
Well, there's like I think a tent that's mostly EDM.
Yeah. Generally.
But yeah, I mean, you got Disclosure in there. Awesome. Who else did I see in there that was EDM? Porter Robinson. Porter Robinson, big name, EDM. That from my generation.
I just don't listen to it enough to be versed in it or even, whatever. I'm an old man.
Yeah, that's fine. But again, you guys let us know if there's anything we're missing here, if we're big old dummies who don't get how awesome your favorite band is that we just glossed over.
Yeah.
Let us know, and we will give them a listen.
Yeah.
Are you planning on going to Bonnaroo this year?
That is the big question.
Yeah.
Let us know. Is this lineup strong enough? Is the urge to just return to the farm strong enough to just look past what could be a weaker lineup? Are we exaggerating how weak this lineup actually is and not fully appreciating what we're looking at? I don't know. Let us know.
Yeah.
So, I think we can get the fuck out of here. Before we get out of here, you know what we got to do, guys? We got to review these Brewskis. So, Obi, please tell the people what you thought of Sideward's Juicy. You know what? We didn't even go through we just kind of glossed over you know, the read.
The deets? You want me to get into the deets real quick?
Please get into the deets.
The Juicy Boots is from Sideward Brewing Co., a local brewery, as you know. Again, that was my ass. This is a 7% ABV, double dry hopped IPA. And according to Untapped, this is their dry read because they do not include dry reads on their cans. The worst thing that this brewery does.
The worst.
Fan of moon boots and juicy IPAs? You'll love this amped up version of our flagship IPA. Though Moon Boots is always double dry hopped, we ramped up the hop additions on this one. So it is a extra hoppy, I guess. Extra double dry hopped.
Yeah.
Version, and you can taste it.
Mm-hmm.
It is distinct from the Moon Boots, which I love. I love Moon Boots. I love all their standard beers, actually. I think they have a very good base lineup. One of the strongest locally. That being said, I like it a lot. Do I like it more than the OG Moon Boots? I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
I'd have to have them side by side, but my gut's telling me not quite as much. I do really like that juicy flavor, though. I like how easy it is to drink but also how much of a bite of that hoppiness you get. You definitely have to be an IPA fan to enjoy this one.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm gonna go ahead and give it the old 4.5.
Give me the old 4.5.
Tasty, good, solid. Would I get it again? Sure. Does it go above and beyond? Not quite for me. It's almost there. I do like those juicy tones. I may just be kind of hazy, juicy, IPA'd out a little bit.
Yeah.
That may be playing into it a little. So take it for what you will.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and also, let's just start with a unanimous 4.5 this year.
Okay.
First review of the year, 4.5. I feel the same. It's distinctive from the Moon Boots. Is it, I don't know, is it my own bias that's coming through too much where I'm just like, what am I to do with this? How much am I supposed to drink? I will say what they set out to do with it, they accomplished.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, juicy, bitter, hoppy. It's got like a full mouthfeel to it. Like it works on the level that I'm assuming they intended it to work on.
Yeah.
But I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't know. I think it's hard to say, but I think it might just be my own bias coming through.
Sure.
I'm just like, I just don't want so hoppy, so
your bias is valid. It's okay.
Thank you.
It's my ass again.
Not to say that it's bad. I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 6.
4.5 is a great score.
I think it's good. I think it's a good score.
Yeah.
So there you go.
All right.
Think we got it?
I know we got it.
All right, well, then let's get the fuck out of here. The first episode of the year, and we're getting the fuck out of here. This has been the One Beer In podcast for myself, Marco Dupa, for Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Woot, woot.
Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious beer, and have a beautiful evening.
We love you.